I got approached by a buddy of mine to do a logo for his home brewery. I ended up doing that for him. Drew Fox of 18th Street saw that logo and contacted me via Facebook. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea what 18th Street was because it actually wasn't really established yet. And then just sat down, talked with him, and about a week later I had the first label to him and ready to print. I've been working with him since, about 3.5 years now. At the beginning of 2014, he brought me in full-time as the brewery's creative director. I create all of the labels, the logo, really all of the branding for the company, for 18th Street. So basically when you think of 18th Street, if you're not just thinking about how awesome the beer tastes and you're seeing something in your head, like that's what I've created with the help of Drew. Luckily, he and I are very good at bouncing ideas off of each other and deciding what we want to go with and deciding what direction we want to take to showcase the amazing beer that they brew. One thing I and Drew and just 18th in general tries to do is just to set our beers apart on the shelf so that, maybe somebody who might not be completely familiar with, all the different styles of beer, or, they might just be having a panic attack in the beer aisle because there's just so much. My part is to kind of show off and showcase what's inside that can or that bottle, because I know that Drew and the brew team have gone 110% on everything that is in that can or bottle. And I just want our labels to reflect that, in the hopes that, somebody who has no idea about us picks it up, is like, hey, that looks cool, I'm gonna take it home and try it. I guarantee when they take it home and try it, they'll like it. And then maybe they'll save the can or the bottle too, so. When I sit down to actually create something, I'm not pulling from anything directly. I'm constantly bombarded with imagery, and a lot of times that'll just kind of stick in my head whether I know it or not. So when I sit down to start working on stuff, I just start sketching. I use a Wacom tablet to draw directly onto the computer. Drew and our other brewers come up with the names because they're working so close with it. They've written the recipes. They've done all of the physical work to get that beer going, so they have that relationship with the beer. And then I take that idea and start trying to base imagery off of that. The texturizing on the can just comes from how it's set up to print. Anything on the label that is shiny is the actual aluminum of the can shining through the label. I use that just to give a little more depth to that flatness of the label itself. And it's just kind of fun. You're just sitting there and you spin it and little different areas light up that you might not have noticed before. Ed PA is named after a gentleman who is now our CEO, and Ed's been a huge supporter, even prior to him joining us, coming on board with us. He's been a huge supporter of 18th Street, so we decided to do a beer named after him. And so I actually contacted his wife, Carol, to find out some things about Ed to see if I could tie those into the label. Because otherwise, what was I gonna do, draw a picture of his face? I didn't want to scare people away. I found out, a few things. He's Irish, he likes sci-fi, and he used to work on Corvettes. I based the flags off of the Corvette logo. A two-headed snake, which is his Celtic birth animal. Something like that. I might have that incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. And then, the whole alien attack scene is totally just based off of his love of old sci-fi and UFOs and stuff. I think he gave me a high five. I think he gave me a high five whenever I showed it to him.